Hey guys, welcome to the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. John Rapp here. Thought I'd record an episode here, a little bit different than what I normally do, talking about my trip up to Susquehanna. Got invited to go up and hang out with the Kayak Anglers of PA for their state championship. So let's get it kicked off.
You're watching the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. Welcome to the Rusty Hook Podcast, presented by Feelfree Kayaks. Paddle, pedal, or power, there's something for everyone. ZPRO Lithium, serious power for serious anglers. DuBro Fishing, American marine application soft plastics. Big Lake Bait Company, Texas's #1 custom bait maker. Raw and unfiltered. Streaming on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Bringing you gear reviews and candid interviews from the industry's best. Angler profiles, tournament news, and legendary knowledge from kayak fishing's best. Grab that cold drink and get settled in. Now here's John Rapp, our host.
Hey guys, welcome to back to the show, Rusty Hook. As I said there a minute ago, I wanted to talk about the Susquehanna and my trip up to Pennsylvania. Got back last night around midnight, and while it's fresh on my mind, I got down here, got some videos pulled up. I even have some Google Maps that I'm going to show you a little bit about the river and talk about how I attacked it, where I was successful, where I failed, and where I could do better, and talk about some techniques that I've been working to learn. Thanks to some other fishermen. And, you know, that's the great thing about our sport is you can never stop learning when you fish. There's always something you're going to learn. So we'll get into that and a little bit more. Looks like I got a friendly face with me today. She missed me while I was gone, so she's been hanging out with me quite a bit. But let's pull up my Google map here. I'm going to get it set up, and I'm going to show you the area that I was in. And how my 3 days transpired. So there's where we were, and so I basically fished in the Selling Groves area of the river. On day 2, we did a float. Day 3, I was around Port Trevorton, and my first day up, I went around the what's the name of this place? Let's go ahead and zoom in here. Mahan Tango boat access. So the way it worked was I drove up early Thursday morning. I got up there around 9:30. I met Kayak Anglers' Dain Provins. He's been their director of the clubs. To show you, to know a little bit about Kayak Anglers, they have 5 chapters, and each chapter has a president, and then he is like the executive president. He managed all 5 chapters, working through their presidents. So he's giving it up. He's passing along to Rich Fralini. Rich is going to do a great job, no doubt about that. But anyway, I met Dain here, and really enjoyed hanging out here. This 2D version. You can see what I did. We just did a single access. We didn't do a float or anything. And this is the area that we concentrated. With me, him, and Kevin hit this area here. Now, Kevin had a motor, and he went up the river a little further, and he went down the river a little further. Had a little bit better success. But it was a good day. We got to fish for about 3.5 hours. Rain. I packed up the night before, drove up early in the morning, got up about 9:30, and had a little bit of a brain fart when I got there because I knew I had packed my PFD, but when we were getting out on the water, I couldn't find it. And you guys know I preach, wear your PFD. So the first day, we stayed in this area. I stayed in this area because I wasn't wearing a PFD, and that's not cool. So, but let's show you some day 1 footage here. Here, I guess maybe I ought to just show you where we were at up there. This is the map area from the map access. You can see it there. Really, really nice area. And one of the other things that you need to get used to, and just to give you fair warning, when you're heading up to fish the Susquehanna, is the way their road systems are. You can't make left turns or right turns. You may have to drive past an area like this is a not divided here, but other access ramps that you had to go drive past, make a little turn off the road. Like you can see here, you have to turn off here, then go this way, then go back to get on. And it's the same way for each south and north directions. So, but we got down in here. I put in, fished upriver, and it wasn't running real swift, but it was swift enough. I had my little Bixby J2 that would help me get up the water, but one of the issues I had is there was just enough of that slime, silt, and some grass. I kept getting my little motor clogged up. So I was able to get up here just above these little shoals. We fished this a little bit, and then floated back down, fished the bank, and just worked this bank, floated back down here. Now down in here in this deeper water, which when I say deeper, I'm talking maybe 4 or 5 feet where I fished. The water cleared up. You didn't have that soot on the bottom. Now granted, one of the techniques that I like to fish is throwing a Ned rig. I'm a very finesse type fisherman, but this trip I primarily was prepared only to throw a chatterbait. So on day one here, I probably caught 20 fish in those 4 hours, 18 to 20 fish. I have a couple of them on video, and I'm going to present one here to you. Let's see, day one. See here, out in the middle of the river. Good fish. Pulled my drag in there a little bit. Slide up underneath the boat. Will cooperate me. I got her up there. We about got loose. It's one of the smaller fish I caught of the week, of the 3 days up there. But got this one here, another one. She was a healthy girl, not real big. 13, half 14. A little bigger. And as you can tell, Ned rig, TRD, that was my success. As I can see on top of my YakTech box, I had a DuBro crawl that I was switching in and out. But they just wanted that darker color. That was what I was finding. Pretty dark fish. It was around a 14 and a half. So but that's where we were at. I was fishing this location here, and it was pretty nice. Nice river, clean. But down through here in this channel, the further down you went and you stayed in the deeper water, the more success I had. It was the rocks, and it seemed like the pattern that I just looked at or found for me when I was fishing finesse on the bottom was out of the algae, out of the garbage. The lower the water was, where that was collecting on the rocks or around the rocks, the silt, I just didn't find fish. But if I got into 3 or 4 feet of water outside of that, it seemed like I was a little bit more successful. So, but Day 2. We're going to get into that. Day 2 was a lot of fun because you can see we went up and did a put in and takeout. Came up into town, almost up to where the dam is, and put in this big old long slow water hole. And all the way down through this hole here, we floated. It probably took 45 minutes till we got to the bridge. And once you get to this area here, it starts to, the water gets a little lower, and there's a lot more rocks that you can see and fish and structure that I wasn't seeing up here. Did cross a couple of logs that I tried to hit, or trees that were down in the water. But down here got a little swifter and a little shallower. And then you got down into the islands down below, as you can see here. And that's, you see when I started zigzagging around the islands and trying to catch a few fish here and there. So I'm going to share some videos I got with that for you there. But before we do that, I want to run a video here from, let's see if I got it, about a water shoe that I really wished I would have had. I was wearing sandals, and on day 1 when I was out of the boat working to clean out my motor, as I was trying to position myself to get back in, old man fell into the water and got all soaking wet. So
I was initially introduced to Cross Kicks by doing a Google search looking for the perfect shoe that would allow me to unload my kayak from the ramp without changing shoes, getting in the boat, fishing all day, and being able to come back, get in the truck, and go home.
The big thing for me that made me wear Cross Kicks over other shoes was the versatility. I can go to the boat ramp, and then when I'm done at the boat ramp, I can go meet my wife and kids for a nice dinner and wear the same shoes and have, nice looking, comfortable shoes on.
I ordered Cross Kicks because of the backing strap, the drainage. Visually, I thought this has got to work better. Tried the shoe. Within the first week, felt it was phenomenal. It works for me. It allows me to rinse my feet off in the water, get back in the vehicle, continue on my day, and never have to change shoes throughout the day.
It keeps me comfortable all day long. It is a huge factor on the water, comfort, comfort, comfort. And especially my feet being comfortable, protected, and knowing that when I step off my kayak, I'm gonna have good solid foot traction. That's a great feeling to have.
By the time I put my kayak in the water and get out and load my equipment up, my shoes are already dry. And I wouldn't change that about Cross Kicks for anything.
yeah, and they are a great sponsor for the Kayak Anglers of Pennsylvania. So shout out to Cross Kicks. Not only do they sponsor us here at the Paddle and Fin with the Rusty Hook, but they also help out the kayak angler clubs out there as well. So big shout out there. So yeah, day 2, we did a little float trip, and so as you can see here, let me try to figure out how to get this back here to the ad. I want to show you guys this ramp. You have to go through town, get off the interstate here, come over here, and then you come around this loop, and then you come in. And it's nice. It's a beautiful morning. It's a good ramp. We had a boater come in with us. As you can see, it's concreted and works really good. Here's all the guys here as we were getting ready that morning. Getting ready for the KAPA group float this morning. The boys here at the ramp getting all set up. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, that ramp, it's a pretty good wide ramp, good location. And about 7 of us took off that morning. Might have been, or 9 of us. And we all floated down the river. Everybody caught some good fish. And like I was telling you, I didn't really have any success here. coming to here. But I know Dain caught one. And then I think Kevin caught one over here around the island as well. I'm not sure about Frank and the other guys. But once we got past the bridge here, this railroad crossing, I caught a fish right here and started catching some fish down to the river here. And what was I saw right here across from this boat access is where we ran into our buddy Mike Reinhold. And I would say somewhere right in this location here around the Susquehanna spot, I saw a catfish. I tell you, that catfish had to be every bit of 30 pounds. He was at least 3.5 foot long. When I saw its tail, the tail looked like my hands like that. I mean, it was huge, absolutely huge. Floated right over top of her. And then a couple guys caught muskie on this float or hooked in the muskie. But let's share a couple videos of day 2 with you, and we'll go there. So again, what I was doing with day 2 was on that float. I was carrying 3 rods with me. I had a top water with a whopper plopper, chatterbait, and a finesse technique, which my Ned rig set up. Pretty much fished the same colors that I fished day 1. I was throwing a Alabama crawl with a Bloody Mary Sunday trailer on my jackhammer, and then with it was the Evo Light jackhammer, I believe, and then the Ned rig setup was with the 3/8, or no, that don't sound right. 332, 832 with a 1/0 hook, and I was using a 5-inch TRD, and then I had some smaller DuBro crawls that I would mix in to see what they would want. Those were my baits of choice and what I was catching my fish on. So here was one of my day 2 first catch of the day, and caught it on a jackhammer. And just as I was catching her and bringing her in to the net, she spit my jackhammer out. So I got lucky. Spits are right there.
Ooh, lucky me. I got her in the net because look what come loose. Goodness.
Sure did. Not a bad fish. About a 15.5, give or take. Fat, as you can see.
15,
Heavy fish.
15.5-inch fish.
So had a good fight with it. And then a second fish that I caught. I mean, I got several good videos this day. Day 2. Here, just after when we were floating down into the islands, me and Dain went over some ripples. I had a bite, or I think I caught a fish there, and then I turned around and he caught a fish. So here's Dain's fish.
My boy Dain coming through the shoals here. Smacked a nice smallie. Oh yeah, that's a good 16 minimum. Beautiful.
16.5.
Heck yeah, brother. Nice work.
So my man's getting ready to take his picture. Here's a couple of good ones I had.
Good one. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go, Dain. Yeah.
I caught that fish on that jackhammer, and I know she
Nope.
wasn't in more than a foot and a half of water at the most. That whole section down through there was just
Jody Queen special.
probably less than 2 feet of water. And as I mentioned there, I call it my Jody Queen bait, Jody Queen fish, because he's been educating me on how to throw this hammer. If you got friends that know how to throw a jackhammer, talk to them and learn from them.
That's 16.
And here's another one. I think this one's a Ned rig fish. Or maybe it is a jackhammer. Let's see. Yeah, it's a hammer. One thing I did notice about these fish is that, like most fish, but these, when they get close to a boat, they really start to fight hard to get away from that boat.
Quick capture, huh? Ooh. Another 16.
Big old healthy fish too. And I'll give the guys credit that we're talking about the Susquehanna when I've spoke to them over the past several months and years. When they talk about the fight of the fish, the Suskies fish, they do fight well. They're I think more over is that it's the size of the fish. They're bigger, they're thicker, heavier. So that tends to give you the feeling that you're getting a better fight than really what you are. How you feel about that, honey? She agrees with me, but when they got close to the boat, they would really either try to go under the boat or get away from the boat. When I was trying to get them closer to the net, so it was fun. Good thing I had that net a couple times when they were coming in. So let's see. Got a couple more here I want to show you. Day two. Here's my island fish here. Pulled that drag.
Good one. Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go, Dain. Yeah. Choked it.
That's one of the things too about chatterbait fishing, and I can understand why Jody and him worked hard on developing a rod for it. I've been using it on a 611 Berkeley amped rod that I really love the way it feels, and I'm gonna experiment with the chatterbait fishing and start using a Trica rod to see how it feels.
That's 16.
So basically, during my week, my biggest fish was on day one down at the first pool, and it was an 18.5-inch fish. And then every other day after that, I'd say my best fish each day, day two, day three, was around 17. Overall, the 3 days up there, I probably caught 70, 75 fish. And I would say of those 75, 40 to 45 are caught on a jackhammer. So my goal was to try to learn how to use that bait and figure out. When I was down on the New River with Jody, he gave me some education on how to throw it when it comes to in and around moving water. And one of the things you want to experiment when you're throwing that, and we all do it when we go out, is you're developing and finding that pattern. And what I would do on day two, when we were doing this float, I seemed to find that they wanted to fish when I would throw it directly vertical of me. So if however or horizontal of me. So I would throw it horizontally and bring it right back at me instead of at an angle with or against the current. Basically it was going with the current. So I guess it would mimic a fish that was not being able to fight its way back upstream, but it was going out or away from the bank. And that's most of the time I was throwing toward a bank and bringing it to me, and that would be the way that it mimicked that fish. So it wasn't able to get upstream. It wasn't going with the current, but it was coming out away from the current, if that makes sense to you guys. That was how I seemed to have success on day 2, and quite tickled with it. We did a 6-mile float, as you can see. When we left up there, and we took out down here at Hoover Island access. And really, I felt like if I had more time up there, this would be the area that I would hit again. And I would work my way hard to get down through there. And the other thing that I learned, because first trip, never been up there, all the guys were saying the water was really low, and it was still even low, even though it came up close to 10 inches to a foot during the time that I got there. So the water came up, as you saw in the videos here, every day. It was mid to high 60s, low 70s, very humid, overcast, and had been raining. Day 1 on Thursday was pretty much drizzle and rain all day. I guess it was some of the outer bands or some of the pressure system from the hurricane. And just want to say a shout out and wishing everybody well that was affected down from Florida up to North Carolina. I got off the phone there a little bit ago with my marketing director, Rohland Jimenez. He's actually from Austin, Texas. Normally works from home. Believe it or not, when I talked to him, he was in Asheville. They got hammered real hard. He said he's never seen anything like it in his life. And as you guys have seen over the internet with the photos and pictures that are being shared and videos, it was an absolutely catastrophic event for those communities down there. Our warehouse that we've been in forever at Feelfree, that we just sold because we were going to move from Swannanoa, which was extremely hard, over to Old Fort. Old Fort was completely washed out as well. We don't know the status of that facility that we were going to move to over there. And keep everybody in your prayers there, because Roland was telling me that everybody was accounted for on the Feelfree staff and team, all but one person. And as you know, the communication issues are the problem down there right now, as they're bringing things more and more back online. Hopefully we'll hear from that one individual and know that he's safe. So speaking of the companies that I love and support, ZPRO, Feelfree, DuBro, let's take a quick watch of the companies that support me and I try to support. And if you're looking for some companies to work with, want to get into a kayak, need baits or power, here you go.
This is the Rusty Hook Podcast, supporting people and companies that support us. Feelfree Kayaks, paddle, pedal, or power, something for everyone. DuBro Fishing, manufacturer of fishing and marine products for freshwater and saltwater anglers. ZPRO Lithium, high-quality, specifically designed lithium batteries to power your outdoor recreations. Big Lake Bait Company, Texas's #1 custom soft plastics bait maker. You're tuned in to the Rusty Hook Podcast. More than a podcast, but a way of life. From the biggest lakes to the smallest creeks, we are all things kayak fishing. Refresh that drink, turn up the volume, and feel the excitement. It's time for the second half of the show. Live, raw, and unfiltered. Now, let's join the one and only Big Daddy.
Hey guys, welcome back to the second half of the Rusty Hook Kayak Fishing Podcast. Sitting here talking about my 3-day trip up to the Susquehanna. So we went over day 1 and day 2, the first half hour of the show. Day 1, did a single access point, and in day 2, we did a 6-mile float. Great time, great fishing. Between those 2 days, I caught the majority of my fish. On day 3, which was Saturday tournament day, didn't really get out on the water until after 10 o'clock. Had breakfast with one of the other guys from the club, Jeff Ostrich. He helped those guys go do a put in, and so they could get them. They could put in and shuttle a couple of the guys. I was going to be part of that. Funny story for yesterday morning was those guys got up at 4:30 in the morning, and you didn't have, there was no put in fishing. There was no early put in like we would do down here. You get in a half hour early, you can start paddling before you fish. They set it up because of the river. It's at 7 a.m. Put in, lines in. So I'm like, well, it's 4:30 in the morning. The guys are just going to go out there, drink some coffee or something, and get mill around for makeup. So I'm sitting there. Next thing I know, I dozed back off, and then when I woke back up, I didn't hear anything, no noise. I looked at my phone; it was only 5:15. So I dozed back off for about a half hour. Went out and looked, and they were all gone. I'm like, oh no! So I got up, packed my stuff, reached out to Dain, found out where he was at, went over to the ramp, saw him, and that's where I got to saw Old Paddle and Fin host from the new show, Sean Lavery, and a group of his guys from Central Pennsylvania that were going to go fish that area that put in. And with Dain, there was about 8 of them there, I believe. And so I talked to them for a few minutes. Then we met up with Rich and went and had some breakfast before we went and fished for about 3.5 hours on day 3. So I'm going to pull up my map here. I'm going to show you where we went on day 3, which you've probably seen here. Well, I'll have to share it again. Let's see. To present. But where is the stop screen? Oh, here. Okay. Okay, so there's day 2 takeout. Day 2 put in right here down at Port Trevorton. So interesting thing. We'll educate you guys. You see right here the fire company grounds. That's where you want to be, because we were under the impression this building here was the fire department and this was the fire department grounds. So we came down in here to unload this ramp right here, and was somebody from this little camping community and came over and said, "Hey, you guys, you're in the wrong spot, private property." So we packed up once we found out and drove back down to here, which was 300 yards or so. And actually, there's an access through from the campground right here, but we had to go up here, do that little roll, come back down, and we came down right through here, came across. We parked up here, and this is where we put in. And I think I have, no, I don't have the day 3 put in, but do have day 3 bass. Just after we put in, here's Jeff as
We're just getting out on the water, and my man Jeff already pounding the bass, working our way up to the.
So yeah, he does that quick release. Is I'm running over there to him, and what we did, we were the idea for us to fish here on day 3, and you can see what we did is I come up through here Well, you can't see it because I got to remove Jeff's video here. So when I came up this path here and got up there, and it was pretty swift because this is old bridge pillars, and it probably 2.5 to 3 feet of water. And that's the one thing I wanted to say is that I took my Moken 10 with the little Bixby motor because I wasn't familiar with the water or how it laid out. And so I'll tell you guys that are motorized that you probably would be safe taking your NK 180 or your NK 300 up to there without any issue. One of the reasons I didn't take my NK 300 setup was because I still haven't got it really rigged up properly to where I can pull my motor out of the water safely and then put it back down, because that motor is so heavy it wants to fall to the side and I can't get it to come up straight and go back straight. So I believe I'm going to work on that this fall and have a really good setup for next year, because my plan is to go back up to Susquehanna in the spring and hang out with Mike and him. Mike was talking to me about what they do up there, and he said that in the springtime those fish will really crawl back up into the creeks and flood the creeks during the spawn. And the way the water sets up, it's high enough to provide those fish access and us kayak anglers. So that should be a lot of fun. But you can see I came up to here at this angle here. I cut across using that Bixby jet motor and fished this below the old bridge pillar areas. And over here to the right was where I had some access, so a little bit more success. Didn't fish this real hard because we encountered one of our buddies who was fishing the tournament. So I tried to let him get all the casts in front of me until he decided to go downriver. I thought he went upriver, but he ended up floating down behind us. And I went up, as you can see, upriver, did some fishing. But I had one of my better fish that I caught in between this pillar right here. It was a 16.5-inch smallie on a Ned rig, and I'm going to pull up that video and show you guys how it worked there. Day 3. Actually, I may have to pull it up. Here's one, day 3 rocks. Okay, day 3 rocks fish was up here above this rock ledge right here. I caught 3 fish up there and like 5 casts. I caught 2 fish in a row, and this fish here is going to be the second of the day 3 rocks 2, which was about a 14.5, 15-inch fish. And then both of them were caught on chatter, so on that jackhammer.
Got another one up here above the rocks. Oh. Good one too. Yeah. Over there stacked up.
Here's the first one. You see it's below the bridge pillar here. She was feisty. And you can see the rocks there at the bottom of the boat. I mean, not very deep water right there where I'm at, probably 1.5 feet.
Yeah. Holy fish. Holy fish. Take a look at you there. You been had that. Huh?
Actually, a pretty fish. Really choked on that Ned rig really good. And she was able to get it down in her throat. I had to do a little surgery there.
Good.
Heavy.
Yeah, that's a good 16.5 inch. Good fish. It's a good one.
Dark.
Dark fish.
So dark fish means she stays in that shallow water, gets hit by that sun a lot. At least typically. Remove that one. That was the first fish, and again, that was down here by the pillars. Get back up here. I'm going to show you that day 3 fish again by the rocks. I don't have the best fish. I'm going to show you this one. Videos start from the beginning here.
Got another one up here above the rocks. Oh. Good one too. Yeah. Over there stacked up. Upper lip hook set on this about 15 inch. No, she's about 14 and a half.
Yeah, it was a good fish. It was a lot of fun catching it. I'm trying to find a video here to show you guys the fish before that one. September 28th, 51. It's going to be the nope. So I haven't downloaded it from. I'll share that on in the notes here. It was a great catch. So anyway, good float. Again, we just did a single port access port. Fished for about 3.5 hours. I probably caught 12, maybe 15 fish this day. Most of the fish ranged. I had 2 probably at 16.5, 17. Rest of them were between 13 and 15s. But I mean, anytime you're catching fish is a good time. Baits again were the chatterbait and the Ned Rig TRD. I was throwing a green pumpkin, just in case anybody wanted to know. But let's take a quick break and let's talk about food. All right, so I'm going to add to the stage here my Facebook page, and I'm going to talk about a couple posts here. Let's see if I can find them. I got to go to my page. So we went to this location. It was Cruiser's Cafe. It was at the intersection where we were staying at Mike's place, probably about 7 miles from the cabin. Great customer service. They were quick to service. Food was excellent. Highly recommended if you're in the area to go check out Custer's Cafe. We also had our award ceremony at this place up here. I was impressed with it, actually. I guess it's not, it may be a chain. Get to all the photos here. But I think they've had their awards ceremony up here for a couple of years. It's just Skeeter's Barbecue. And it really, really has a nice view because it sits up on the hill and it overlooks the club for the dam, the water area. And so if you want to get something good to eat, have a good view, I had their chicken nachos or chicken nachos. Yeah. And I liked it. But what I did see was somebody was pounding down some they were pounding down some wings, and I love to eat some good wings. And buddy, I tell you, they looked pretty awesome, and he seemed to enjoy them. So when you're up in that way, again, it's Amish country. We went to breakfast, one joint over closer to our cabin. I can't remember the name of it. Dain might be able to share it with us later, but I had a taco salad there, and he had the turkey, I think, roast turkey and mashed potatoes. Uh, it was good. Everything looked good. Was good. They were very friendly. You know, so when you're going out there, you're getting your Airbnb or you're going to a cabin, and you just want to grab something to eat when you get off the water. There's quite a few little places there, mom and pop places that you can go check out and support them. So appreciate everybody taking a few moments to jump in and listen to me ramble about my trip up there. I want to give a shout out to the Kayak Anglers of Pennsylvania for inviting me up to be part of their event, as I helped or provided them with some ZPRO sponsorship this year. They were absolutely wonderful to work with. Dain, Rich, Kevin, all the guys, all the presidents, and members of the board up there, Mike, were just absolutely excellent to work with. And I believe that they're a grassroots organization. They've been in existence since 2013. Got to see Jeff Rabbit, one of the old school guys that still see he's still a hammer on the water. He was winning events 10 years ago when I go up there and fish, and he's still winning them now. So it's good to see that some of the old school guys are still involved. Dain, congratulations on your year and on everything that you accomplished with the kayak anglers and building a great organization. And I definitely know you passing it to Rich will be quite a burden off your shoulders. And at the same time, I know you're hanging around to help with sponsorships and stuff. So that'll be great. Yeah. And it's awesome. Rich will definitely appreciate that. Guys, don't do like me. Like I told you at the beginning of the show, when I packed up, I got a cooler in the back of my truck, and I set my PFD back there, and it slid between the wall of my truck bed and that cooler. So I'm tearing up inside my truck looking for my PFD on day one. Couldn't find it, so went out and just fished a little bit without it. Bad on me. Things worked out, but I need to do what when I talked about at the beginning of the show. How I can do better is make sure that I'm better organized. Because I did have time to be better organized. I thought I threw the vest in the truck. I threw it in the back of the truck. And then when I'm digging into the inside my truck looking for it, couldn't find it. Just fortunately, I found it on day two after I borrowed a vest for day two. When I was packing up, I saw something back there, and it was because my vest is a blow-up vest. So it folds into a small, neat little package. And it got hidden back there. Do a better job, John Rapp, and you guys make sure you guys prepare properly. Always wear your PFD. Stay safe and be blessed. I appreciate you guys listening to me, and we'll see you again soon. Be blessed.